meet the proverbial man with 7 wives, but I did meet an estate agent, or more correctly, let me ask you this question. Who likes nosy neighbours? Hands up if you like nosy neighbours.
No.
Hardly anybody. They can be a real pain in the neck, can't they? A real pain. But more of him later. About a year or so ago, we saw a nice, big, ugly, tatty house on Rightmove, just the sort that's good for an HMO. Nice and spacious, with real potential. It was on the market for just under £190,000. So I phoned up the estate agent and said, have you got a floor plan? He said, not yet. The man is still out there doing it this week, but I'll let you have it as soon as you can. I said, great. I'll come along, please, on Saturday morning and have a look at it, if I may. So I booked a viewing for the following Saturday. In the meantime, I thought, well, let's just go and sort of have a look at the outside. So I went along and had a look. It wasn't inhabited, so I could just sort of have a little snoop around. No sooner I got there than up pops from next door the nosy neighbour. And out he comes onto the pavement and gets into conversation with me. And we had a good chat about one or two things, and then I went off on my merry way, very much looking forward to Saturday's viewing when I could get inside the property. Friday afternoon, the estate agent rings about 5 o'clock and says, very sorry, the property's sold. Well, in that typical stiff British upper lip sort of polite way, I said, well, that's jolly well unfortunate, I think that's terrible, protested greatly, which of course was to no avail whatsoever, and so there we go, the property seemingly was lost. But one of my favourite quotes is Winston Churchill, who says, never, 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 never give up. Now, I like to think I have this fine quality of persistence. My wife says I have the quality of obstinacy. But let's call it persistence for the sake of this evening. So I sort of thought about this and stewed on this over the weekend. Very unhappy about the situation. I thought, right, we're going to do something about this. So first thing Monday morning, I picked up the telephone and I rang the RSPCA. Now you're thinking, why did you ring the RSPCA? Well, nosy neighbour had told me that the property was being sold by the RSPCA. So I was able to phone their head office, speak to one of the surveyors in their property department, and say, look, I'm not trying to cause any trouble or any problem here, but I just want to make sure that I'm not being done and you're not being done. And I explained the situation, and the good lady said, well, the agent told us that everyone that wanted to see it had seen it. I said, well, that's clearly not the case. So she arranged by the agent for us to see it, and we knew that an offer had been put in just below asking price, so we put in the offer at asking price, and we got it. Which was... Now, the property had very, very little maintenance. It was built in 1958. I think it hadn't seen very many maintenance men since. That was a corner of the utility room. The windows were just a tad, windows and doors just a tad rotten. The drains were not flowing ever so freely. That was the nearest we got to a consumer unit. That was one switch in the garage. Downstairs toilet held together with sticky tape. And that was a boiler in the kitchen, which I think was even older than Cindy. I thought it was an oil burner, but in actual fact, I'd never seen one qualified. It was actually gas. But there we go. So, but the good news was, it had potential. So on the left-hand side is the floor plan as at the time of purchase. You see there's an integral garage there on the left-hand side and a big lounge. On the right-hand side is what we did with it. So the utility room in the back corner, we shifted that door out of there and we moved it over to the middle of the property. That enabled us to get a fully fitted kitchen, like a horseshoe-shaped kitchen all the way around. We divided up the lounge to give a bedroom and still a nice living area at the back. and we converted the garage to a bedroom. So we ended up with 2 bedrooms downstairs, and they shared the shower room there, but still plenty of communal space. I think if you're going for high-end HMO, which we were, you do need decent communal space. So we made sure we kept that. The upstairs was relatively simple. There were 4 big bedrooms really in each corner. So the centre rear bedroom, we simply took a big window out, put 2 small windows in, divided the room in half and made 2 shower rooms. Those little bits there, they're not miniature shower trays, by the way. That just doesn't show very well on the plan. They're boxing in at the end of big 1200 shower trays. So that was where we finished up. The 2 top rooms on the right-hand side are en suite, and the 2 at the bottom share a bathroom. So there's plenty of bathrooms for people. Obviously, there's a lot of work to get it to that stage. Lots of old tree roots and things to pull up, but it is amazing what you can achieve with a tow rope in a company car. And there we see various stages. The bottom left-hand corner is what was the garage. That was all sort of dug up. And eventually, we finished up with a nice dining room, a nice kitchen, fully tiled bathrooms and shower rooms, nice bedrooms, and a nice seating area. So a little bit of a contrast from hopefully from the first series of pictures that you saw. The aim is to make it look like $1 million, but not spend $1 million on it. And sometimes even the addition of pictures, I mean that nice tall picture at the top, I think I paid about $3.99 from a charity shop for it. But I mean, it just looks better than a bare wall. And the front of the house was improved. Obviously the garage door is now gone, that's a room, all new windows, all repainted. The old porch is gone and there's a nice new canopy there. And the big toilet pipe is all disappeared off the front of the house, that now goes down the inside. But you'll probably say, never mind the pretty pictures, what about the numbers? Show me the numbers. How much money is it making? Well, the first number, which I thought was interesting, was the house was built and sold for £2,495 back in 1958. And you can almost imagine somebody there saying, oh, I'm not going to pay £2,500 for that house. Unless I can get it for 20% BMV, I'm not going to get it. So that's just a little salutary warning. Look at the long term, not necessarily the short term. Our setup costs were as follows. Hope you can all read those figures in from the back. So property itself cost us 190. Ever so roughly all the different bits of building were about 50, and the furnishings were about 10. So we paid about 250 altogether. In terms of monthly cash flow, our expenditure there is on the left and the income is on the right. So you see it gives a cash flow of 919. In practice it's much better than that, because the 270 management fee we're paying to ourselves, not to an agent. We put in £50 a month for maintenance, but because everything's new, there's been virtually no maintenance at all. So really we're getting, we've had no voids either in the first year, so really the true figure is more like £1,300 a month. In terms of return on investment, we've only got, now we've remortgaged it, we've only got sort of £20,000 left in, so really we're getting 72% return on investment, and within a year, or just over a year, all the money will have come out, so effectively it'll be infinite return. So, bearing in mind how we got there, who now likes to know St Ives?
Yay!
Thank you very much.